In a momentous address to global leaders at the COP28 Eco Summit held in Dubai, King Charles delivered a poignant message emphasizing our custodial responsibility toward the Earth. He eloquently expressed that the Earth does not merely belong to us, but is a legacy we hold in trust for future generations. With a profound sense of urgency, he urged nations to collaborate and take unified action to bolster environmental efforts. Highlighting the impending ramifications of climate change, the king drew attention to the year 2050 when his grandchildren, although not explicitly named George, Charlotte, Louis, Archie, and Lilibet, would grapple with the consequences of our actions or inactions today. His participation at COP28 stands as a testament to his long-standing dedication to environmental causes, granting him the singular honor of being the sole foreign head of state invited to speak at this critical climate action summit. It serves as an unprecedented platform for nations to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of progress since the signing of the Paris Agreement in 2015. Nevertheless, apprehensions loom over the likelihood of producing favorable outcomes from this evaluation. The King's discourse at the summit articulated deep concerns regarding the persistent rise in carbon dioxide and methane levels, underscoring the substantial disparity between current actions and the necessary trajectory outlined in the Global Stocktake Report. He highlighted distressing observations from various Commonwealth nations and beyond, where communities bear the brunt of climate change-induced catastrophes, amplifying the urgent need for substantive measures to safeguard the most vulnerable populations. Despite the commitments outlined in the Paris Agreement to limit global temperature rise, alarming projections by the United Nations forewarn a catastrophic 3 degrees Celsius increase by the century's end if existing climate policies persist. King Charles reiterated this alarming trajectory by referencing the visible consequences such as cyclones, wildfires, and floods that underscore the ongoing climate crisis. Emphasizing the symbiotic relationship between humanity's well-being and nature's delicate equilibrium, the king urged for the restoration and preservation of nature's intrinsic balance. He posed 5 pivotal questions to world leaders, seeking collaborative approaches that merge public and private entities, secure funding for sustainable development, expedite innovation, devise long-term strategies, and craft an ambitious vision for the future. As COP28 unfolds until December 12, the UK government has pledged a substantial £1.6 billion towards international climate change initiatives, including a noteworthy £60 million contribution to a fund addressing losses and damages in the world's most impoverished nations. For King Charles, this address marks his inaugural speech at COP28 as monarch, having previously inaugurated COP26 in Glasgow in 2021 and COP21 in Paris in 2015. In conclusion, the king left the audience with a stirring call to action, underscoring the pivotal role and responsibility held by leaders in shaping the collective future. He urged a response marked by ambition, creativity, and a profound acknowledgement of the pressing climate emergency. Stressing the consequential reality that future generations will bear the weight of our decisions, he implored a unified effort to protect the planet, recognizing the interconnectedness between humanity and the broader ecosystem. In his closing remarks, he reiterated the invaluable teachings of indigenous perspectives, advocating for the maintenance of harmony with nature as an integral component of our existence. The speech resonated deeply. The Earth does not belong to us, we belong to the Earth. It drew the attention of high-profile figures like Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, and others at the summit. The king engaged in bilateral talks with influential leaders like the Emir of Qatar, the President of Israel, the French President, and the President-elect of COP30 in Brazil. Throughout his visit to Dubai, the king emphasized peace in the region, engaging in talks with leaders from Nigeria, Guyana, and the United Arab Emirates. His attendance at the summit, at the invitation of the UAE and the British government, was deeply appreciated by His Majesty, an opportunity he wouldn't have missed for anything. Interacting with students, he expressed his gratitude and received a symbolic gift from Brazilian indigenous tribes, acknowledging his efforts in protecting Amazonian biodiversity. However, amidst these discussions and engagements, concerns arose regarding the environmental impact of COP28. Official figures projected COP28 to be the most polluting event of its kind, primarily due to the substantial number of attendees. With over 104,000 official delegates and an estimated 400,000 participants in related events in the UAE. The carbon emissions from the sheer volume of flights, especially to an oil and gas-rich country, were predicted to surpass previous summit emissions. The environmental impact of flights, from commercial to private jets, heighten these concerns as they contribute significantly to CO2 emissions. Nonetheless, climate experts argued that the potential benefits of COP28 outweighed its environmental footprint. They stressed that if the summit resulted in countries committing to substantial emission reductions, it could effectively combat global warming. Emphasizing the significance of the agreements made at previous summits, experts highlighted the potential carbon savings, far exceeding the emissions from the summit itself. For instance, agreements to triple renewable energy deployment by 2030 could prevent billions of tons of CO2 emissions, equivalent to significant periods of emissions in certain countries. Acknowledging the environmental concerns, COP28 organizers pledged a commitment to sustainability and a carbon-conscious event. Despite the projected environmental impact, the overarching goal remained centered on achieving substantial global agreements that could mitigate climate change and its detrimental effects. King Charles II delivered an impassioned speech at an international gathering, expressing gratitude for the invitation and highlighting the urgent need for global action on climate change. He began by recalling his previous speech at COP21 in Paris, emphasizing the significance of the resulting Paris Agreement and the collective hope it ignited. Expressing deep concern over the alarming environmental tipping points, King Charles stressed the need for substantial transformational action. Despite decades of warnings about existential threats from climate change, carbon dioxide levels have risen by 30% and methane by almost 40% since earlier times, indicating insufficient progress in curbing emissions. Drawing attention to the devastating impact of climate change on vulnerable communities worldwide, he pointed out instances of natural disasters like cyclones ravaging islands, unprecedented floods in countries like India and Pakistan, and prolonged drought in East Africa. King Charles highlighted Canada's severe wildfire season, emphasizing the release of greenhouse gases and their contribution to dangerous feedback loops. Underlining the importance of restoring nature's delicate balance for our own survival and well-being, King Charles urged a shift toward a zero-carbon, nature-positive future. He emphasized the significance of recent climate records, emphasizing the need to comprehend their implications. Humanity is pushing the natural world into perilous and uncharted territories. Asserting that the choice to be made is about the level of danger humanity is willing to subject the world to, King Charles stressed the collective responsibility of every individual in effecting change. He urged collaboration among multilateral organizations, public and private sectors, philanthropic groups, and NGOs to drive climate action effectively. Proposing practical questions for consideration, King Charles highlighted the necessity of strengthening international institutions to tackle the current crisis effectively. He advocated for mobilizing trillions of dollars annually from public and private sectors for transformative change, redirecting finance towards sustainable practices, accelerating renewable energy deployment, and fostering innovation. Additionally, he called for cohesive, long-term approaches spanning sectors, countries, and industries, promoting industry transition plans toward a zero-carbon future. King Charles emphasized the need to harness societal ingenuity, particularly from young people, artists, engineers, communicators, and indigenous communities, to envision a sustainable future in harmony with nature. Urging the audience to seize the opportunity to act ambitiously and imaginatively, King Charles stressed the urgency of the climate emergency. He emphasized the importance of practical action for a shared future and reminded everyone that future generations won't judge by words spoken, but by actions taken. Citing indigenous wisdom about the interconnectedness of all life and the need for harmony with nature, King Charles reminded the audience that we belong to the earth, underscoring the responsibility to protect it for future generations. Dear friend, If you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.